Hey, what's happening everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. Alright, so this week of Pokemon Go is going to be filled with some very key events. It's actually going to be a pretty busy week for a lot of different players, and the reason for that is because Niantic is giving us a bunch of stuff that is going to be brand new to Pokemon Go. And I really do think that for this week, it's definitely going to be one worth checking out, because I think for a lot of players, they're starved for some really good content, and we actually have some stuff that is worth your attention. The first thing I want to talk about, of course, is that yesterday we had Sprigatito Community Day, and for myself, I was actually able to pick up my first Shundo of 2025. I was extremely lucky to come across a Shundo. It was all thanks to a 100% IV callout in my local community, and when I went over to that Sprigatito, it was a 100% and it was a shiny. So yeah, that is something that's really exciting, and I'm really hoping it's a good sign for this entire year. And another thing I wanted to talk about regarding Sprigatito Community Day is that there is a lot of controversy regarding the increased price of the ticket. And I want to dedicate an entire video to that topic, which I will upload later on today, so be on the lookout for that. It's definitely going to be interesting. And then I also wanted to talk about the in-game event that's currently ongoing until the end of this week, and it is the Fido Fetch event. And I have to say that with this event, I'm actually a big fan of it, because on top of them introducing a new Pokemon in the wild, it's also featuring a global challenge, which is actually pretty good. Now, this Fido Fetch event is not the only event that's currently ongoing. We are also going to be getting a Fashion Week event at the end of this week, and I actually think this event is worth your attention. Fashion Week is going to start on January 10th at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go all the way until January 19 at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. The featured Pokemon for this event is going to be a brand new costume Minccino, as well as its evolved form Cinccino. Every year with Fashion Week, they tend to bring out a new costume Pokemon that is actually pretty cool, and I will say that for this Minccino, it's a very unique design. Now, during this event, we're going to see the following event bonuses. You're going to get double the amount of Stardust whenever you catch Pokemon, and you're going to have double the chance at getting Candy XL if you're level 31 and up. I will say that anytime Niantic gives us a Stardust bonus for an event, it really does not matter what the event wild spawns are. It's going to be important for you to go out and catch as many Pokemon as you possibly can. And the reason for that is because Stardust is such an important resource. You pretty much need it for everything in this game, and the more Stardust that you can get, the better your account is going to be. And of course, there's going to be collection challenges, new avatar items, as well as field research task rewards themed around this event. And I will say that for the collection challenge, it's probably going to be all related to the wild encounters. Speaking of which, let's go over those right now. First, there's going to be a Diglett wearing a fashionable costume. There's going to be Skitty, Baneri, Blitzel, Furfrou, Bruxish, as well as Kirlia in the wild, and all of these can potentially be shiny except for Bruxish. Now, the thing is, when it comes to Kirlia wearing a fashionable costume, you're going to have an increased chance to encounter a shiny one. So if you ever come across any of these in the wild, you should definitely try to catch it, because chances are it's going to be a shiny, and that's going to be quite rare. Now, in 1-star raids, we're going to see Shinx wearing a fashionable costume, Minccino wearing the new costume, as well as Furfrou. And then in 3-star raids, you're going to see Butterfree wearing a costume, and Dragonite wearing a costume. And something you need to keep in mind is that for Minccino, Furfrou, Butterfree, and Dragonite, they're all going to have a boosted shiny rate. And then finally, there's going to be a paid timed research for $5 USD. It's going to award you with 3,500 experience, 3,500 Stardust, event-themed Pokemon, as well as an event-themed avatar pose. I will say that this ticket is probably not going to be worth it. For $5 USD, you're not really getting a whole bunch, so I will say that you probably don't have to buy this ticket, especially because all of the good stuff is going to be in the wild encounters, and when it comes to those 1-star raids and 3-star raids, that's probably going to be more worth your money. And then finally, on this weekend, we're going to be getting a raid day, and it's going to be featuring a brand new Mega Evolution. And this Mega Evolution is actually relevant in many ways when it comes to gameplay, so you will want to pay attention to this. Mega Gallade Raid Day is going to be happening on Saturday, January 11th from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. The featured Pokemon for this raid day is going to be none other than Mega Gallade. Now, during this event, we're going to have the following event bonuses, and these are typical for every single raid day. The limit for remote raiding is going to be increased to 20, starting on Friday, January 10th at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time until Saturday, January 11th at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then during this event, you're going to receive up to 5 additional free raid passes when you spin gym photo discs. And then you're going to have an increased chance at encountering shiny Gallade from mega raids. Now, there's going to be an event ticket for $5 USD or the equivalent pricing in your currency. You can purchase this ticket in the in-game shop, and it's going to grant you the following bonuses. You're going to get 8 additional raid passes from spinning gym photo discs, which is going to give you a total of 15 free raid passes, and then you're going to have an increased chance to get Rare Candy XL from raid battles. And then you're going to get 50% more experience from raids and double the amount of Stardust when you win raids. These bonuses will be effective on Saturday, January 11th from 2 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. local time. So even after the raid hours end, you will still be able to have these bonuses. Now, if you plan to participate for this particular raid day and you're someone who is willing to spend money, I always say that these $5 raid day tickets are always worth it because they actually provide you with an insane amount of value. Not only are you getting additional raid passes that equates to a lot more than $5 worth of Pokecoins, but you're also going to be getting some specific bonuses which will definitely enhance your gameplay. Getting extra Rare Candy XL for a raid boss that's easy to take down, that's something you should not ignore because every single one of these raids are going to be spawning around the clock, and if you could take them down quite easily, then you're going to get yourself a ton of Rare Candy XL, which is a very important resource. Alright, let's switch gears and talk about PvP. So, until January 7th, we're going to have the Great League and the Holiday Cup Little Edition within the Go Battle League, and then afterwards, until January 14, we're going to have the Open Ultra League along with the Color Cup Great League Edition. If you have any really good Pokemon for these particular leagues, then you should definitely get a couple of battles in because you're going to want to rank up before the season ends. Now next up, we're going to have a Spotlight Hour tomorrow from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time, and it's going to be featuring both versions of Voltorb, both Voltorb and Hisuian Voltorb. And there's also going to be a 2-time Stardust bonus for catching Pokemon bonus. That's actually a pretty good bonus regardless of what the Spotlight Hour Pokemon is, so if you're in need of Stardust, especially if you got yourself a really good Sprigatito and you want to power it up, then this Spotlight Hour is one you should not miss out on. Next up, on Wednesday, we're going to have a raid hour for Palkia, and that is of course because we have Palkia in 5-star raids currently. If you want yourself a bunch of candies for Palkia, then this Wednesday's raid hour, which is going to be happening from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time, is one you should not miss out on. And then on the weekends, we of course have Shadow Registeel in 5-star Shadow raids, and that is a Shadow legendary Pokemon that you do not want to miss. It's definitely a really powerful one, especially for PvPers. So if you want to get yourself a Shadow Registeel and possibly its shiny form as well, then make sure you raid those 5-star Shadow Legendary raids on the weekends. You will need a good number of people, however, because it is in person only. And then finally, let's talk about tonight's Max Monday, which is going to be featuring Dynamax Machop. It's going to be happening between 6 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. local time, and it's going to be a great opportunity for you to get yourself a whole bunch of this one Dynamax Pokemon. And considering that Dynamax Machop is actually quite relevant, this is definitely one you should not miss out on, especially if you are engaged in max battles. Alright, so like I said at the top of this video, this week is filled with a lot of different events. Now, if you simply do not care about any of the content that I mentioned in this week, then yeah, this week is going to be another break week. And considering that for a majority of players around the world, it is extremely cold weather right now, I really do think it's not a bad idea to take a break right now. I mean, yeah, it's usually not that busy in the month of January, but at least this time around, it looks like Niantic is filling it up with a lot of content. But at the very least, there is not too much going on where you have to absolutely play Pokemon Go right now. So yeah, for what it's worth, if you are someone who is actively playing Pokemon Go, there is certainly a lot of things to do. But for a lot of players out there who may not necessarily feel the need to play Pokemon Go right now because of the cold weather, you're not going to be missing out on a whole bunch. So yeah, go ahead and take a break week if you need to. But yeah, with that said, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there anything in particular this week that has piqued your interest? Definitely share what that is in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you ended up finding it to be helpful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the absolute best way you could do so is by joining my Patreon. If you become a paid Patreon member, you get the added benefit of getting a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. So when it comes to stuff like remote raids and the friendship system, if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you can do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and you'll have some access to some exclusive content. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all in the next one.